Hello, everyone, and welcome to Session 3 of Fallout New Theta. I am Hannah, your DM. These are my lovely players.
Hey.
And we're just going to get right into it. Previously, on Fallout New Thedas, the gang brushed off their detective skills to investigate Guarin's destroyed Chantry, wherein Valise and Ray discovered a trail for the stolen Blade of Hessarian and a really creepy amulet. Desmond was tricked by a priest, and Neural discovered the one true arch-nemesis behind it all.
The bugs!
Alright, so if I'm recalling the end of the last session correctly, you guys had gone to bed at Greasy Joe's, was it Druffalo Burgers? I don't remember.
Druffalo haunches? Druffalo legs?
Druffalo
like
haunch
that.
sounds right. For the record, Greasy Joe is in fact a quite fastidious-looking Canary man. And
Good.
if no one has anything that they wanted to do secretly during the night, I'm going to say it's the next morning.
Neural snores very loudly.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
Do golems sleep?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say you don't need to sleep. Like, you can't get fatigued, but you most likely find sleep relaxing.
Got you. Alright, I'll sleep.
Okay. So, are you all meeting up to go out into the Brecillian Forest, or are you guys going to do something totally different?
I think we have to go to the forest to speak to the person who knows about the amulet. So I vote forest.
Yes.
Yeah, Valise is wanting to go to the forest as well.
Neural forgot which direction the forest is in, so he's waiting for the others before running off.
That's progress.
Aw, no, we're so proud.
Character development!
Only because he forgot which direction.
I'm not sure Neural ever knew which direction the forest was in.
And that didn't stop Neural before.
I believe it was mentioned and then he was grabbed by the levitating person.
Oh shit, actually Neural... did Neural put on the Pit-Boy?
Valise put the Pit-Boy on Neural.
Did Neural keep on the Pit-Boy?
Yes.
Alright. Then I guess technically Neural has a map, but to my knowledge, Neural has not figured out how to get to the map all by Neural's self yet.
The only thing that is like Neural knows how to do is how to play Swarm.
That sounds about right. Alright. Anywho, you guys exit Greasy Joe's Druffalo Haunches. It was a surprisingly nice evening. The sun is shining, there's a little garden outside, the bees are buzzing gently, and one drifts down happily and contentedly and lands right on Desmond's nose. Neural, roll perception.
God damn it.
Should have worked out.
Hey,
Let's do it.
15.
That'll do it. There is a bee on Desmond's nose.
Oh no.
Neural will save you, and Neural attacks the bee.
Desmond initially was trying to swat it away, but then he hears Neural say this, and he goes, "No, get away from me!"
Neural is swinging the hammer?
Alright, Neural roll accuracy, Desmond roll a reflex save.
11.
15.
Alright, you just duck out of the way and you hear the hammer swoosh above you.
Hold still!
The bee goes flying lazily upwards, clearly unperturbed by either of these events.
That feeling when you meet the final boss.
Just a single fucking bee.
The Bee Wiggler.
And that was it for your bee wiggler roll. Well, not entirely, because I do owe you a reward from last week, which we will get to when we get to it. But that's it for the menacing bee wiggler roll.
Okay.
All right. Quick retcon. Since you are doing something for the Unbroken Circle, and something that they are hoping will ultimately help bring back Jenny, or at least keep the city from getting sucked into the Fade. Traxis has given you guys about 10 blue lyres each, just to like get you some food and supplies and travel expenses.
That's
We're
nice of them.
rich.
So rich. You also technically have a single horse, so you guys can figure that out.
Dibs.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Elise calls dibs. It's her horse.
Yeah, it is Valise's horse.
Also, I think I might crush it if I sat on it.
Yeah.
Neural has meat dog.
Meat Dog snored just as loudly as you at your feet all night last night. It was
Good.
cute, kind of a disgusting way.
Meat Dog is such a good boy.
Meat Dog also ate an entire buffalo haunch that you have to pay for.
Did he eat the bone?
He's carrying the bone very proudly in his mouth right now.
What a good boy.
I'm so proud.
All right. So, do you guys want to do anything in town, or are you just headed off to the forest?
I think we're headed off.
Alrighty. It's pretty easy walking for a ways. It's actually a very surprisingly beautiful area outside Guarin, especially like it's especially disconcerting sort of post dragon attack, because Guarin is all fucked right now. You know, like it's not a ruin, but the people there were not having a good time, especially not at the market district in front of the main gate. And as you leave the main gate, you hear, "Thank you for staying in Guarin. We hope you loved your stay. Come back soon. But don't bring any werewolves."
Valise looks as nonchalant as she possibly can.
Wait, there are werewolves in this?
Yes, werewolves exist in this universe.
Welp.
Banned
There are
from
so many
Guarin.
possibilities. Wait, is it possible to be a were-bronto?
No. Damn. I'm just saying flat hard no to that.
Fair. Ray waves goodbye to the speaker voice.
I mean, she's a physical gate attendant. She's just so dumb she might as well be a speaker.
Oh, fair enough.
All right. You head out of town. The path north starts out pretty clearly defined, but people don't really travel through the Brecillian Forest if they can avoid it. They prefer going around, or they'll take passage on a ship because it's super dangerous. So as you get closer there, the trade road doesn't disappear entirely, but it does sort of peter off, and it's really obvious that you guys are now sort of off the beaten path. And just at the edge of the Brecillian Forest, right before you enter like the thick of it and the road really cuts off, there is a big blue and purple wagon. It looks very fancy, and it has a large sign on the side of it that reads in fancy, curvy gold letters, "The all-powerful Jessica."
Yes! Jessica! Jessica! Jessica!
There's an elven woman leaning out of a window of this sort of like a food cart, and she is chewing gum, and there's a human man beside her. Everybody except Valise roll enchantment. Valise, you pass automatically.
What? Why do I pass? Oh. Valise suddenly looks very uncomfortable.
Oh no. What were we rolling?
You're rolling enchantment.
Thank you.
Enchantment?
I'm gonna guess a 10 doesn't pass.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Neural, nothing is weird. Everything is totally chill right now in this moment.
I got a 3.
You have never seen a guy more lively and emotional than this dude, and his deadpan humor is hilarious to you. Desmond, you notice that I don't think you would have ever experienced this personally, given your backstory before, but there's really something weird about this guy. Like, he's like cut off from the Fade in a way that makes you very uncomfortable.
Neural just sees Valise and just kind of holds up his hammer, like asking, should Neural smash?
No, it's a bit late for that.
Come on up and see the mighty Jessica. I can tell you anything you wants to know. This is my partner Rollins. We balance each other out, okay? 10% of all proceeds go to find a cure. Actually, a bigger percentage than that, but like 10% for sure.
Who did that to him? Was it the Templars?
Of course it was the Templars. I don't need my gifts to tell you that. But he's gonna be okay. We're gonna find him a cure.
You are. Do you know... Well, what do you know about it?
Tell you what, I'm the mighty Jessica, and beside her, Rollins sort of intones, "You should really remember your stage name." And she says, "I'm the mighty Jessica, and I can tell you anything you wants to know for the right price. But I got to eat. You understand?"
She looks between Jessica and Rollins, did you say?
Yeah, his name is Rollins. I need to write him down on my NPC sheet.
Fair enough. She looks at Rollins and looks like she wants to talk to him, but just immediately gets really uncomfortable and turns back to Jessica. Before I were to give you any money, do you actually know anything about a cure? I mean, I know it exists, but other than that...
Not yet. Here's the way it works. You'll give me money. I take some stuff. I go into sort of a trance. And I find out a little bit about what you need to know. I can't guarantee everything, but I can guarantee at least a little bit.
I want to do a skill check to see if she's on the level.
All
Yeah.
right, roll insight.
Yeah, I was hoping Desmond could roll for bullshit.
Yep, everybody
Same.
who wants to is welcome to roll insight.
And you said that she's an elf, right?
She's an elf.
Okay.
Neural is just kind of staring at the guy, kind of with his head cocked to the side, and is just like, what is with this guy?
I got a 19.
24.
It does
That's
not
unbelievable.
improve
Me out of
your
the water.
hearing to tilt your head. That only works on owls.
Please...
Neural tilts his head to the other side.
Please forgive my friend. I don't believe he's ever met a tranquil before.
What is
There is
a
nothing
tranquil?
to forgive. I am not uncomfortable.
I know you're not. I forget sometimes.
What is a tranquil?
Desmond, you've not heard of the Rite of Tranquility either?
I'm assuming I haven't because I failed my save, right?
I mean, you can have heard of it, however, you clearly have never met one before because you did, like, laughably badly.
Oh, yeah. Got you.
She shifts, like, her body language has changed significantly from being very confident and at ease with herself to being a lot more sort of folded in upon herself and shuffling from foot to foot, like she doesn't know where to put her balance. And she looks over at Jessica. Would it be, I don't know how you feel about tranquility, if it would make you uncomfortable if I explained to, them.
Of course I don't like it. You see, Rollins? He was a stand-up comedian.
Oh.
He still kind of is, but people don't get him no more.
I'm really sorry this happened.
He's my best friend.
Maybe I should wait until we're away from here before I explain to them.
Oh no, it's fine. At least I don't gotta do it this time.
She looks around to the other three. The Rite of Tranquility is something that the Templars perform on mages to strip them of their magic. It basically cuts off their connection to the Fade. and as such, it also strips them of all emotion.
Desmond
Oh.
looks very uncomfortable.
I thought he was just like real deadpan, you know?
No, he's had his emotions taken away from him.
Ray kind of shuffles for a minute and then hands him a plush Bronto.
How many of those do you have?
I don't think.
What is this for?
It's for
It's
when
soft.
It's for when the right is reversed, right?
Yes. And before.
I shall put it away then.
She kind of leans into Ray. It's not like he can take comfort from it right now. He doesn't understand what comfort is.
Ray kind of like rumbles.
It's one of the worst things the Templars do. And I know that's saying a lot.
Jessica informed me that it was comforting to know I had killed 3 Templars before they managed to pin me down.
Oh, I like you.
Neural just raises his hammer as if to ask, should Neural smash?
If you're asking if you can smash the Templars, Neural, yes. With prejudice.
Ray nods.
But you gotta be careful. If you're outnumbered by them, they are powerful. Do any of us pass our insight checks on Jessica?
Oh yeah, you all passed. She does seem to be on the level, and most of you have at least heard of Psychers before. It's not a super common mage specialty, but it is very possible for mages to learn to use some side effects of certain lyrium chems to be able to do things like see the future.
She's Mama Murphy.
Or
That's why you're
understand,
doing
like,
the accent, isn't it?
the accent was actually just because I thought someone named from Jessica was definitely from Jersey.
Nice.
Hey! I will have you know, I am also from Jersey. And I've
I
never
didn't know that.
I didn't
Yes.
know that either.
I am from New Jersey.
Do we have to like fight now? No, we don't.
I feel like there's sort of a catch-22 there, because if you fight me over naming someone Jessica, then that's like a very New Jersey thing to do.
I'm just saying, Jersey Shore is not an accurate representation of the rest of the state.
You are correct, and it was unfair of me. Someone named Jessica is definitely from Jersey Shore, which has no bearing on the rest of the fine state of New Jersey.
Thank you.
Everything is legal in New Jersey.
Fireworks!
It has been 0 days.
Is there anything we can do about the echo at all, by the way?
I think that was just because I was talking and holding it down.
Oh, you're not wearing headphones today.
Yeah, sorry. I
No, it's okay.
know where they are.
Okay, yeah, Valise is going to look at her and say, alright, how much?
All right. Let me see. This long pause is not canon. It's just me having opened the wrong page.
This long pause is brought to you by too many tabs.
Okay. I'm not going to do these options in an accent because I want you to actually understand what the options are.
Okay.
All right. Your options here are: you can ask a yes or no question that it would normally be impossible for your character to know the answer to, and she will have to attempt a concentration check for that. Obviously, she's built for this. She's pretty good at it, but it is still like something she could flub. She could learn something about an object that you are carrying or the person who last carried that object. I will remind you that the last person to carry the amulet was Traxis, and before that, Sister Karis. So it wouldn't, this is not a shortcut to end that quest.
Fair.
Yeah.
But she would learn a fair bit about anyone who last held an object, and she can attempt to see a vision of things to come, which is pretty generic, but depends on if you want more information than a yes or no question. And any of those options are only 5 liars apiece.
Blue liars, right?
Of course, blue liars.
Yeah.
I'm not charity here.
Yeah. I
Well,
figured.
I am, but I also gotta eat so I can continue running the charity.
Of course.
I got
Felice
pamphlets if you
can't.
want to see them.
What?
Oh, she does in fact have like pamphlets for her Find a Cure for charity.
For her what charity?
Her Find a Cure charity.
Okay.
She
Yeah.
is in fact running a charity to attempt to help like rediscover the cure for tranquility.
Felice will totally take a pamphlet.
Ray will take a pamphlet.
Opens the briefcase and then slams 5 liars and the mystery syringe onto the counter.
All right.
Incredible.
What do you want to know about this mystery syringe?
Neuro wants to know what is in syringe.
Would you mind if I turfed this one to my associate? He's a little better at herbalism, and I don't think you need the future of the syringe. Just, someone who's good at herbalism.
Neural nods.
Okay. Shit, what was his name?
Rollins.
Rollins, thank you. Rollins takes the syringe and he kind of examines it and he holds it up to the light and he like squeezes a teeny tiny drop out and sort of like rubs it between his fingers and sniffs it. And then he hands it back to you and he says, "It appears to be a fairly basic but powerful stamina solution. I'd be careful. They're quite addictive. Handy in a pinch, though."
Neural puts it back in his briefcase.
And in out of character terms, it is a stamina potion that you can inject yourself with, but it's basically the in-game equivalent of jet. Like you have to, it's really good, but you have to be really careful because it does have like the highest addiction statistic of anything that I've got on my little drug table.
So Neural is just carrying around drugs.
As you do.
I mean
it's
not
the waste.
illegal drugs. It's not like there are laws.
It's the wasteland. Sooner or later, all of us are carrying around drugs, whether we mean to or not.
Anyone else?
There.
I didn't
Was
even
it 5
do
blue
nothing
liars
for
or
that.
10 blue liars?
5.
Alright. Ray is going to pull out 5 blue liars and ask if it's yes or no questions, right?
Yeah. Yes or no questions or a general vision of the future.
Okay. Is Jenny alive?
She takes your money and she takes like a little like tablet of something. Her eyes glow blue for a second and then she says, "Yes."
Alright. Ray
Felice,
kind of looks at the others and says, good news.
Felice lets out a very audible sigh of relief.
And is a general vision of the future the same price?
Yeah, everything's the same price.
Alright, I'm gonna give 5 more blue liars for a total of 10 for a general vision of the future.
Now, are you asking for yourself or are you asking for all your friends here? The Jessica needs to know.
I'm not terribly worried about my future. I'm sure it will be interesting enough. How about for the group?
All right. She takes a couple tablets this time, and she kind of grips the edge of the counter that she's been leaning on. And she says, "You will all face great trials to come, not only in the ways you expect, but also in this very forest. Remember that there is always an opportunity to show mercy. Also, when the path forks, go left. Just, that's more of a general direction thing." And her eyes are kind of fading out at this point. You don't want to go right. Nothing good happens in the rightward direction at the end of this path there. I'll tell you that for free.
Thank you.
That actually
I
helps.
got to have repeat customers.
Fair enough. Thank you, Jessica.
Felice proffers up 5 liar. Are you up to doing another one?
Well, you kid, anything.
She smirks a little. You charm her. She slides over the 5-layer and says, "Alright, the cure for tranquility. Does it involve going into the Fade?"
Jessica kind of pats your hand, and then she does, the whole routine that you have seen before. And she kind of looks up in the sky and she says, "It involves coming out."
Of the Fade?
Was a closet.
Thank you, Ellie.
You're welcome. That was out of character.
Rollins smacks you in the back of the head and then says, "I don't know why I just did that."
Fair.
And Jessica kind of pats your hand and says, "I'm sorry. That's all I got.
That's better than what I've been able to find so far. Thank you.
I'll let you know if I come up with anything else. I'm sure you'll see my wagon again.
And if
That's
I manage to come up with
future
anything,
guarantee."
and if I manage to find out anything, I'll let you know.
Of course. You kids be careful in that forest now.
Neural has gotten distracted and started off wandering down the path.
She just smiles a little and says, "What, you think we're going to be reckless and risk not getting to see your lovely face again? Don't be ridiculous." And she quickly hurries off after Neural to stop him from getting into trouble.
You hear kind of a soft comment behind you, and you hear her say, "That's gay," at the same time that Rollins very calmly says, "That was homosexual."
Oh my god.
God.
Ray is going to wave goodbye to them and bound down the road with thuds to catch up with her companions.
Jessica waves back enthusiastically. Rollins looks very confused about this whole hand movement thing.
I would like to say that Valise briefly turns around, waves and says bye, which is both a farewell and a correction.
I love Felice.
I do
Me
too.
too.
Thank you.
All right. Is Neural still in the lead, or are you guys going to go catch up to him?
I'm certainly trying to catch up.
I guess we should catch up.
Neural is not running at the moment, he is just wandering as he sees a bug.
There are lots of bugs in the woods.
He keeps changing his target.
Oh, Neural has his work cut out for him.
He has 3 enemies on the list now.
Dragon,
Like the
bugs,
Predator, but
Templars.
confused.
Yep.
I just need y'all to understand that the name Jessica is a Hebrew name and it means the one who sees.
It's
Or
a
foresight.
name that we found on a name website, and Ali begged me to give everyone a random encounter with a psychic named Jessica.
The name is Jessica, and it means
I know.
being able to see into the future.
Thank you for
It's
this
just
gift,
really
Allie.
good. You're welcome. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you,
It
Hannah,
was
for
better than I could
entertaining
have
this
imagined.
nonsense.
Thank you, Andrea. She rolled the 3.
Thank you, Andrea.
Yes. Thank you, Andrea.
Valise is going to walk in step with Neural and say, "Remember, we're turning left at the fork."
Hang on, I need to go roll a d2.
Thankfully, this is low stakes because the rest of us can tell right from left.
Yeah, but it's important to find out for like future reference if Neural can.
Oh god.
Okay, 1, he knows, 2, he doesn't.
We're all waiting breathlessly.
Oh, thank
He
goodness.
knows! Neural
Bless
knows.
Neural.
He's so smart.
All right. So, just off the path, you've been walking for maybe like a half hour. The path hasn't really forked yet, but just off the path, you hear a rustling in the bushes.
Neural raises his hammer.
Valise tries to get a closer look at what it is.
All right. Are you like getting into the bush, or are you just like coming a little closer to the bush?
Coming a little closer, seeing if she can catch a glimpse of whatever it is, and like taking note of if the rustling is like quite low, like maybe it's a little bird or
Whatever's in there is definitely bigger than a bird, but it doesn't sound like honestly, if it were a large predator, it's a really incompetent one. Like Like, you didn't even have to roll perception. Like, you heard it.
Felice is going to look and see if Meat Dog is alarmed.
Meat Dog is digging for mushrooms under tree roots.
He's so productive.
He's not very successful. He's just trying.
Yes, but that's what matters. Okay, so can I tell roughly what size the thing in the bushes is? Like, is it possible that it's a humanoid, or does it definitely seem to be an animal?
As you walk closer, something shoots out of the bushes. It's not going super fast, and it's not headed in your direction. As you kind of refocus on that, you realize it looks sort of like a rabbit, but it's not alive. It's not a living rabbit in any way. It appears to be constructed out of like some sort of like clockwork almost.
Ooh.
Neural chases it.
Is Neural chasing to smash or chasing to chase?
Yes.
Oh dear.
I knew that's what you were gonna say.
All right, Neural, roll athletics. I'm gonna oppose it with this poor rabbit.
I would like to say that Felice, having known Nerl for at least 24 hours, does think to shout out, Nerl, don't smash it, we might want to see what it is.
Good call.
That's a nat
Oh
one.
my goodness.
Neural, you dive head first into the dirt, tumble end over end, and smack yourself in the face with the hammer.
Ow.
That wasn't an invitation to smash yourself instead, Nerl.
The bunny, which was right in your path, again, it is not alive. Like, it's very clearly mechanical, but it springs over you.
Neural gets up and tries to catch the rabbit.
Felice,
Yeah,
you hear-
Felice almost instinctively is holding out her arms to see if the rabbit will jump into them.
All right, Neural, I'll let you roll athletics one more time.
Slightly better.
Ooh.
Can I just say that I find it amazing that Nerl has like 19 in athletics, so that when he rolls a nat 1, it like comes out a 20. But it's still a nat 1.
I also love that.
All right, Neural, I'm gonna add a few points to the DC because A, it's funnier, and B, you're on the ground already, and presumably a little dizzy from the whole being smacked in the face with your own hammer thing.
Yes.
The bunny turns a pretty tight corner, kind of winds up for a second, and then springs directly into Felice's arms. And behind you, you hear a very soft, "Excuse me."
Felice looks down at the rabbit and just kind of goes, "Hello there," and looks around for the source of the voice. Hello?
Behind you, not the rabbit.
She looks
Ray also
behind.
looks.
Yeah. You turn and you see a little elven boy.
Hi, is this your mechanical bunny?
Yeah, that's my rabbit.
Here. She holds it out to him.
Do you have a buddy?
A bunny? No.
No, a buddy.
A
They're
bunny?
not all bunnies.
What
I
kind,
asked for a bunny.
what kind of buddy?
Like her. And he holds up the rabbit.
Well, Nerl here has Meat Dog.
Meat Dog wolfs and wags his tail happily. And the kid says, "Wow, he looks so real."
Oh, you mean like a mechanical one? No, none of us have a mechanical one as far as I know.
You should come to my village. All the kids get them. I know you guys kids, but she might give you some anyways. Sometimes she does if an adult wants one really bad.
What are they for?
Well, it depends. I mean, some of the grown-ups have like horses, or Farmer Ted has a plow that's also his buddy, and he just winds it up and it plows. But Lula's just just for being a bunny.
Well, she's very nice. Are you... What are you doing all the way out here, though?
Can I have her back now?
She already held her out to him.
Oh. He'll very carefully and slowly take it from you. And, everybody roll perception.
Oof.
I got a 24.
Alright. The DCs were slightly different for each of you depending on your personal situation in relation to this. Valise, this seems like a totally normal, happy kid. Like it's weird that he's in the middle of the woods, but he seems pretty chill and calm to you.
Good, fine, good.
Neural and Ray, this kid has like he's making eye contact with Valise. He's talking to Valise, but he is actually physically edging a little closer to you guys. And he's still maintaining like a comfortable distance with Valise. Like Valise could reach out and touch him and it would be fine. Desmond, you are standing on the other side of Valise from Neural and Ray. And this small child is so deeply weirded out by you that he is walking towards the giant rock monster and the living hairball that just tried to smash his pet over being anywhere near you.
Yikes.
He knows.
So, if that's all, I'm gonna go back to my village.
You don't have far to travel, do you? It's pretty deep in the woods.
I don't think I'm supposed to answer that question.
Oh, right, no, that's fine. No, you shouldn't tell strangers where you live. I was just wondering what you were doing so far out here, but that's okay. Will you be okay? Will you get home safe?
Yeah, Lupo will make sure nothing happens to me.
She looks with some skepticism at the small mechanical rabbit.
It does not do anything cool. I mean, it does cool stuff. It's a really cool rabbit. This is like the coolest toy you've ever seen, but it's definitely just a toy.
Yeah.
Also, I would like anyone who's come in contact with the rabbit, which I think at this point is just Valise and Neural. You guys can roll enchantment or mechanics, your choice.
Ooh.
Oh boy. Hey, my mechanics is actually really good.
Listen, it's gonna be like, listen, my dude, you have to pay for the plus 19 in athletics somehow.
Yes, but mechanics is endurance based.
True.
You can't spell endurance without No, that doesn't work.
Weenie wee.
All right. Valise, this is basically the coolest toy you've ever seen, as previously mentioned. And you feel like there's something like missing from it, not in the sense of like it's incomplete, but like it was completed without a key component that's really confusing you, and you can't quite put your finger on it. Neural, you've stared at this thing for a little while now, and you're starting to realize that there's no like motor or sensors in this. It's not even made of metal.
Witchcraft.
Neural's head is cocked to the side again.
You okay, Neural?
Neural is confused by Rabbit.
Yeah, I'm a little bit as well. It feels like she also kind of tilts her head to one side. She's given the rabbit back to the child at this point, but how does it...
Yeah, he's skulking off into the woods while you guys do this. For the record, he is hightailing it out of here.
Yeah, Valise looks at Neural as the boy walks away. Yeah, it feels like there was some component missing. It's like when it was made, something was left out, but it still works.
Neural believes there is no mechanism to make it move.
Huh. Well, I mean, I suppose it could move by enchantment, but...
Neural takes after the kid.
Wait, Nerl, he's just a kid. We should probably just leave him be, shouldn't we?
Small child, how make bunny move?
The small child is gone. You can roll perception to see if you can figure out where the small child went.
That's one.
Neural, you track that small child like a wolfhound. He is down the road, and you come to a fork in the road, and he's about to take one of the paths when he turns around and sees you running after him.
Dear God, he's about to go right.
And he just says, excuse me, why are you following me?
Neural is wondering how bunny works.
Oh, yeah, she just kind of works. That's how they all work. I don't know. Dirthara sings them out of the trees, and then they just go.
Can small child take Neural to person?
Dirthara?
Felice,
Yes.
can I say Felice has caught up to Nerl?
I can take you and her, but I can't take him. And he points at Desmond.
Why is that? Is it because he's... No, it can't be because he's human. You're human.
No, this small child is an elf.
Never mind. Is it because he's human?
Yeah, they're not supposed to come in the village anymore.
Oh.
Because they weren't very nice the last time that they came. Or the time before that. Or the time before that. We just don't do so good with humans. I'm not even really supposed to talk to him, but he was with you, so I figured it was maybe okay.
Well, this particular human has been helpful to us so far. He helped, heal Nerl here. She points at Nerl. And technically...
He broke himself again, though.
And technically, you haven't spoken to him. You've just spoken to me and Nerl.
Yeah, but I can't take him to the village.
She looks back around at him, at Desmond.
Desmond just kind of looks bewildered by all of this.
I'm sorry. Did we determine which fork, which direction the village was in?
Not yet.
All right. Ray is going to ask the small child what direction the village is in.
Excuse me, sir, Mr. Shemlin, can you cover your eyes for a minute?
Yes.
No.
Does Desmond know what Shemlin means?
That is definitely up to you.
Does Felice know what Shemlin means?
Felice would definitely know what Shemlin means.
Okay, cool.
Neural definitely does not.
Dally doesn't?
Dally, it's basically the Dragon Age equivalent of calling somebody cracker. Like,
right, it's kind of a
technically a racial slur, but it's a racial slur used by an oppressed group.
Yeah, to the oppressing group. Yeah, I get you.
But it's a very common word in like elven areas. So Felice would definitely have heard it, and it is entirely possible that this child literally just thinks that's what humans are called.
Felice isn't quite sure whether to correct him or not on this. She kind of tilts her head and goes, "You can just call him a human."
I guess that's what my mom calls them.
Yeah. Your mom probably has reasons for that, yeah.
Mr. Human, I'm sorry that I called you a Shenlin. But could you still cover your eyes for a second?
Why?
Because I can't tell you where the village is.
And he covers his eyes.
The kid points left.
Felice, again, audibly breathes a sigh of relief. Listen.
All right.
She looks.
You didn't think I lived the other way, did you?
We were very much hoping you didn't.
Oh no, that's a bad place to go. You shouldn't go there.
Yeah, we've heard.
I mean, he can go there, but you can't go there.
Well, we're kind of attached to this human for now. He's been helping us.
He probably shouldn't go there either then.
Mm-hmm. Listen, we actually need to speak to Derthara about, well, we need her help with something magical.
He kind of giggles at you, and he says, "She's not gonna like that."
Why's that?
I don't know, but whenever somebody asks her about magic, she spits on the ground and she says, "Why do you think I live in the?" And then she says a bad word, and then she says woods.
Ah,
Neural likes this person.
Who's Neural?
Neural is Neural.
Valise points. That's Neural.
Neural talks funny.
Neural talks like Neural.
Yes, Neural does.
Well, young man, I suppose if you'd like to head on to your village, we'll probably catch up with you. We just need to decide. She glances surreptitiously at Desmond. We just need to decide what to do, before we join you.
Okay, but don't tell my mom that I showed you how to get to the village. I'm not supposed to do that.
No, that's fine, and don't worry, we would have come this way anyway, so it's we would have found it even if you hadn't told us, so don't worry about that.
Okay. Goodbye.
Alright, thank you.
Goodbye.
And he sprints off. He has set Lupa the mechanical rabbit down, and she's like sprinting along next to him.
Valise turns to the other three. Alright, so what are we going to do about the Bronto in the room then?
Oh, hey, Alistair. I
Yeah.
haven't made you roll infiltration yet today.
Oh, that's a good point.
Now might be a good time.
Oh, he rolled a very good roll.
All right. You are totally human. What am I getting at? But although now might be a good time to
Yeah.
alter that slightly.
Neural looks around. Neural does not see any Bronto.
It's a figure of speech. Never mind
Just
that.
then,
right
a
now.
Bronto bursts out of the forest and kills you all. No,
But then it's not in a room then, is it?
that's true.
What I mean to say, Neural, is that we're five, sorry, Meat Dog. We five were planning to go to meet with Derthara, but we've just learned that Desmond wouldn't be welcome there. What are we going to do about that?
Neural looks at Desmond, and then at his briefcase, and then shakes his head.
Yes,
Is
he
there-
probably wouldn't fit. Unless you can shapeshift into something small.
He doesn't have the small shapeshift yet, damn it. Because I started thinking the same thing, and yeah.
Meat Dog starts pawing at Neural's briefcase after Neural shakes it.
What does Meat...
Neural opens the briefcase so Meat Dog can go inside.
Meat Dog snuffles around for a few minutes and then pulls out what appears to be a plastic baggie and prances around kind of cheerfully like it's got a prize.
Adorable.
What's he got, Neural?
What does Meat
Meat Dog runs over and deposits it into Valise's hands. It is covered in drool.
Is it just a baggie?
No.
What's in it?
You see in it, there's a little tube of spirit gum, a tiny little makeup kit, and some fairly fake looking elf ears. Like they
Oh
definitely
my god.
pass close inspection, but they're there.
Valise chews on her lip a little. I mean, it's not a bad idea, Dogmeat, but the little boy already saw Desmond? He'd already know? Unless, Unless we didn't see the boy, or... She looks at Desmond. How would you feel about wearing some fake elf ears and maybe a wig?
I wouldn't. He seems kind of at a loss.
Also, Nerl, how do you have fake elf ears?
Neural does not know. Neural just briefcase.
Meat Dog barks loudly and wags his tail.
By his tail, you mean his whole butt.
You mean his whole butt, but also his stumpy little tail.
Good.
Did you find these, Meat Dog? Did you get these for Nerl?
Meat Dog kind of cocks his head to one side, and then sort of he finally just sort of huffs out a breath and shakes his head.
Well, at any rate, it's a good idea, so thank you. And she scratches him behind the ears.
His tail wags, but then he goes back to Neural pretty quickly, like he doesn't want Neural to think that he's found a new favorite.
Oh, he's so pure.
Oh,
Neural gives him belly rubs.
He's very enthusiastic about the belly rubs.
good.
All right.
How realistic do the elf ears look?
They look like LARP elf ears. Like if you had some time and some makeup and personal inclination, you could really do something with them, but like they are not in and of themselves terrific.
Well, Felice is feeling confident, so she cracks her knuckles and says, Nerl, Ray, Meat Dog, could you all keep an eye out and make sure that no one's watching us? I am going to transform Desmond. Unless your shape-shifting covers species transformation.
I don't think I'm quite capable of this yet. So, very well.
Elf ears it
I'd
is.
let you give it a shot, but the DC would be pretty high.
Felice is going to use this small elf transformation kit and also her own disguise kit. She is, with Desmond's permission, going to... Sorry, there's a bit of shuffling there. Not sure what that was.
Sounds like someone's sharpening a pencil?
It sounded... Oh, yeah, well, it sounded like shuffling paper to me, but something like that, yeah. Oh, maybe someone's just, like, accidentally catching their mic or something. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? That could be me. I'm laying down and my mic is in my earbuds. One sec.
Ah.
Let me go to an upright position.
Neural is going to raise his hammer and then start marching a perimeter around the group.
I love him.
Me too.
Protect
Ray
his
is
wife.
going to kind of stand, tall as usual and look around and just kind of casually says, how badly do you think it's gonna go if they notice?
Who is she asking?
Everyone. The sky. The hopes. Perhaps Jessica isn't that far behind.
Felice.
Jessica's not going into the fucking woods.
Felice is currently sticking elf ears to Desmond's not elf ears and just says, I'm pretty charming when I need to be. I'm sure we can get out of whatever trouble we get into.
Ray nods.
Neural smash!
That tracks.
Ellie, all I can think about now is will it work? No. Change the future. Oh, there he is. There he is. Ellie, he was flapping.
Oh! I can't see him.
Is that a max update?
Wait,
No, we
I
have a
can't.
big blue heron that lives outside, and he doesn't come over like our direction super often. He has a nest in a tree on the other end of the pond,
Ooh.
but like, lately he's been taking to socializing with the geese right outside our window, and so it's very exciting when we see him.
Oh.
Mhm.
Okay, so Felice's process is she's going to affix the ears. She's going to use some of her makeup to make them seem more realistic and make them match Desmond's skin tone. She is going to... I would like to say that as one of her disguises, Felice does have a long brown wig, perhaps made of horsehair or human hair, basically whatever she could scavenge from dead things in the wasteland.
That's
Gross. I love it.
Super gross.
She washed it.
Super creepy. Can you ever wash away the creep?
I mean, I think that having a wig is a pretty integral part of a disguise kit, and I was trying to think, how would you obtain a wig in a post-apocalyptic setting?
I mean, you're right.
So that's just kind of like
A
a
wig
long...
store?
Sorry?
Loot a wig store?
Are there wig stores that she could have looted?
You could probably at least have bought something off a scabber in Denerim.
Okay, in which case she has bought this wig. It is not a corpse wig.
Corpse wig.
Yeah. So she's going to pop that on him, and she's going to make it so that his elf ears kind of pop out, but the part where they're attached to his ears are hidden. So, like, they're elf ears, but you can't see the seam. And she's going to,
Okay.
like, braid the hair. She's going to, like, do his face up a bit so he looks a bit more elfin and angular. And, yeah, that should do it, I think.
Alright, roll infiltration with advantage because you really took your time.
And that's not using sleight of hand, so infiltration with advantage, cool. Wow, I got that wrong.
I mean, looks good to me.
Oh, it's because I forgot something, hang on.
Alright, give me a second roll, take the higher.
25.
Alright, Desmond, for the remainder of this quest, your disguise DC is 25.
Let's hope none of them have particularly high perception.
I mean, it's a solid roll.
It is.
The average perception is 5.
+5 or just 5?
What do you mean +5 or just 5?
Like, the average perception is a 5 versus an average perception is a 1d20.
The average perception
+5.
stat is a 5, I'm assuming.
Got you.
Yeah. A 5 is a +5 in this system, Allie.
Okay.
She she steps back, admires her work, nods and says, "Alright, your name is not Desmond, your name is Gethel Carlassin, alright?"
Alright.
I think we should all practice saying that.
Ethel something.
Gethel Carlassin.
That's right.
Carlassin.
Gethel
Really?
Carlassin.
Never mind.
Okay.
I'm just trying to CP it into chat so it's easier to see.
Oh, bless. Doesn't matter how many times I repeat it, I'll forget it immediately. Perfect. Thank you.
Alright, everybody who is standing watch, roll perception.
Okay.
Allie, don't you have a +10 to perception?
I thought I wasn't Oh, Allie.
Sure do. I thought it was something else. So actually I got
25.
yes.
All right.
I thought that was my insight for a sec by accident.
Insight is a 1.
Maybe. I don't have any points in luck.
You sure don't. Okay. Anyways, no one appears to be watching you, but if you look off in the distance, you do see a couple more whirly birds. Like, they look like little, like, drones, like you can buy at Toys R Us.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of, like, mechanical creatures that look more like traditional birds. And they're all sort of floating off of one area that's in the direction that the little kid pointed. Just sort of popping up and down every now and then.
Cool.
Neural gets distracted and starts walking towards the things.
Which things? You're at an intersection. Are you going right or left?
Left. Or whatever, where the whirly things were.
Okay, that is in fact to the left. Okay. You guys are gonna follow the path leftwards then, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. You don't really encounter any further incidents along the road. As you get closer, though, you notice that, like, some of the area around you has started, like, you see things like scorch marks in the ground. You see places where, like, there definitely should be vegetation, and there just isn't.
Oh dear. These aren't very good herding conditions at all.
What did this?
And as you crest a hill, you can see this little village nestled in the valley below you. And it's not big, so you get a pretty good view of all of it. And you see people coming and going. At the moment, it looks pretty peaceful. There's a lot of people working in, like, they're in the woods, so they don't really have, like, fields, but there's some greenhouses inside the village. And there's some gardens and things. A lot of people are working those. You see some people, like, weaving cloth. And everybody roll perception for me.
Did you say perception?
I said perception again.
Ouch.
Ouch! I got a nat 1. So
Elise,
Ray, okay.
You're very confused, and you could have sworn the little kid pointed right, and you're not sure what's going on anymore.
My eyes have gone all funny from applying makeup.
Yeah, you concentrated too hard for too long, and you're shot now. Everyone else, you're just a regular hot mess.
I got a 19.
And yes.
Save us, Ray.
I will try.
And Ray, you're looking around, and this is sort of familiar to you in a way, because this town looks essentially, and I want to be clear that I'm being metaphorical here, it looks like a herd of Bronto has stampeded through it, like, as recently as a few weeks ago. You know, like, people have clearly rebuilt stuff, but there's a lot of places where there's, like, plywood over some windows in, like, more than this is a post-apocalyptic settlement way. Like, most of the houses around here are made of, like, natural wood and constructed, like, sort of on purpose looking, because they have the resources of the forest, but not a lot to, like, loot around them.
Mm-hmm.
So for the most part, they look like regular little forest cottages, but you're seeing a lot of, like, broken windows, trampled signs. The wall that runs around the little town it's got some, like, basic turrets on it, but that's about it. And the big wall has just a chunk blown clean through it. It looks big enough to, again, this is Ray percepting, so I'm going to say you could walk about 3 Brontos standing side by side through this hole in the wall. And you see some very grim-looking older elves standing guard at this hole in the wall.
Okay. I'm going to say... Oh gosh, what am I going to say? But it was like, I don't see, like, Bronto tracks. It just, like, looks like the damage that a Bronto herd would have done.
Yes, again, I would like to emphasize that this was a thematic metaphor and not a literal situation. You haven't seen hide nor hair of a Bronto since you entered the forest, and you are quite the expert on finding them.
Right. Alright. I'm gonna say, well, it looks like either they had a real bad run with nature, or someone charged a bunch of animals through here. Does it look to be kind of like purposeful herding, or like just like going crazy?
It does not look to be on purpose. There is no logical reason that these people would have blown a hole in their own wall and then let a bunch of wild animals, like, smash various windows and walls and things.
Oh no, I meant, like, was it like an attack? But, like, that makes sense. Cool. That also answers my question. It doesn't look like it was a planned sort of thing. It's kind of all over the place. Don't you guys think?
Speaking of charging, Neural has taken off down the hill.
Earl,
Oh dear.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Can I roll to catch Neural?
Yeah. Roll reflex. It's gonna be opposed by, and I am sorry, Neural's athletics.
oh, we're doomed.
Reflex? I'm looking for it. I'm not seeing
It's
it.
in the block that says combat stats.
Reflex.
top
Oh
on the
lord.
first screen.
And Neural gets to roll athletics? I've only got a +5.
Sorry, dude.
I'll let you roll first.
Wait. Can I tackle Neural? Would that be athletics?
Yes, you may tackle Neural with an athletics roll.
Alright, I'm gonna do that.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Thank you.
Sad that way, isn't it?
Oh my god, I rolled a 1.
You just keel over, like you fall backwards
I rolled a
in the
10.
middle of this interaction. Like, there's no reason, just like the servos in your knees lock up and you just fall over.
Oh lord. I'm gonna grunt, stop that dwarf.
Neural, hold on.
Does anyone else give an athletics roll a shot before I move?
Felice is a charisma character. She's asking Neural to stop.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Andrea react to that, however.
Neural slows down a little bit.
No, remember, they probably don't get a lot of outsiders. We don't want to scare them.
Neural stops at the bottom of the hill.
Thank you.
Neural is immediately tackled.
Hey, that's my move.
Yeah, but it's actually these trigger-happy elves' moves. Neural is tackled, and there are, like, instantly 2-3 bows trained on him. And somebody says, "State your purpose."
Neural wants to speak to Magic Lady.
Derthara, we're here to see Derthara.
A very, like, lean and angular, even by elf standards, woman speaks without lowering her bow at all, and she says, "How do you know that name?"
We came from Guarin. Someone called Traxis told us she might be able to help us.
Warren? And a younger elf dude who, as you look over his shoulder, you see that he's got one of the little, like, helicopter whirlybirds that's kind of hovering at his shoulder, sort of patiently waiting for him to be done with whatever he's doing. He grabs her shoulder and whispers something very hurriedly into her ear. And she says, "You were attacked by a dragon?"
Oh, and he travels fast.
Neural fought dragon.
"You fought a dragon and lived.
Neural scared it off.
With your tactical abilities?"
Yes.
Listen, we could waste time, burning each other, but if you know about the dragon attack, you should probably know that worse has happened. The Blade of... damn it.
Oh, did I write that down?
Hessarian, thank you. The Blade of Hessarian has been stolen, and we need to find out by who so we can get it back before the rift completely engulfs the city. And, beyond.
Why should I give a damn about your Shemlin artifacts?
Did you not hear me say about how the rift will expand? It's not just a human artifact, it's a focus crystal for keeping the rift from expanding.
She kind of makes a noise. And, go ahead and roll persuasion. It's going to be a fairly high DC.
Okay.
Places outside of cities are not protected by focus crystals at all. And so any sort of plea you have on the grounds of
31.
This would be bad because there's no focus crystal is going to be a tough sell.
31?
Yeah, no, that's pretty good.
I'd say that's pretty darn good.
I mean, there's a row 18 in there.
Yeah. She sighs and sort of She maintains a glower, but she lowers her bow and says, "You can speak to her, but I doubt it'll help." And
Gods, I'm grateful for your cooperation. Thank you.
she gestures to one of the men beside her, who was the one who clearly just whispered to her about the dragon attack, and says, "Mahanan will show you the way, and he'll shoot you if you try any funny business."
Ah, my kind of man.
Very nice.
Looks sort of like apologetic about this, but nods.
As they're walking, Valise asks, "So, how did news reach you all about the dragon?"
He points up at his little whirly bird and said, "I don't need news to reach me. I've got Belinda."
Very handy.
You'd think. What all do you know about Derthara?
Well,
She knows things.
we were told.
Magic lady.
We were told that she knows more about enchantment than most. We were also told that she doesn't like to be asked about that kind of thing.
He laughs and says, "That's an understatement."
And yet, she's also responsible for making all these mechanical creatures that inhabit your village?
He nods and says, "She could sing anything out of Ironbark."
Do
Anything.
I know what they mean by singing out of
In this case, it is a magical adjacent power. Like it is possible for an elf to be trained or to train themselves to literally sing to trees with iron bark and coax the wood into shape.
Neat.
And it's not. It's this was actually what your perception roll was for earlier, or enchantment, I guess. It's not strictly magical in the way that's traditionally thought of. There's no lyrium used, and it's not an enchantment that's wrought and put into it. It's just that this is a very magical substance made real through the will of its shaper. And you as a city elf would have heard stories about this ability, but you may or may not have written them off as just straight up fake, because you definitely not have experienced it personally before today.
She just raises her eyebrows and nods.
And he says, "All right, so you agree anything out of Ironbark, right?"
What did he ask?
He asked if you agreed this was sufficient evidence that she could make just about anything out of Ironbark.
I mean, it certainly seems like she has quite the skill.
She could make way more things out of Ironbark than I can.
He nods and then hands you his gun to look at. It's not threatening. He hands it to you butt first.
Right.
What do you think of that?
Who does he hand it to?
He hands it to Valise.
Okay.
You're a giant rock monster. Sorry.
No, fair. I just
No, it's
wasn't
just
sure.
Ray was the last person who spoke, so she takes it. What's it like?
It's just a gun. There is nothing interesting about this gun except possibly the fact that it is by some miracle still working. It is very old, and it's clear that recently he has taken really good care of it, but somewhere along the way it either hung out in the dirt for 50 years or someone just did not care about this item at all. It's a shitty gun.
She looks at it. She must have made this quite a while ago. Did you say Derthara made this?
No, she didn't.
I'm confused.
She doesn't make our bows, doesn't make our armor, doesn't make our guns.
Why are you telling me this?
I'm telling you that there's an old woman sitting in the forest, able to arm and supply an army with the power of her voice. and she's making children's toys. And I'm asking you to think about how successful you really think you're going to be in talking to her.
Well, I don't really have any choice but to try. But I appreciate the heads
He-
up.
Yeah. He kind of shrugs and says, "Yeah, I thought you'd say that. It's alright. She probably won't scream at me again."
Felice just kind of smirks slightly and says, I can deal with a screamer.
Lordy.
He fist bumps you.
She fist bumps.
He takes everybody to a house that it looks like it got pretty much as bashed up as everything as all the other ones, but it's clear that like it's a small hut. It's a hut for one person, and it's not more than that one person needs. But it also looks like people help out with this. Like you can see that the roof's been pretty recently reshingled, and like there's actual glass in the windows, and like it's clear that people care for this house, and either the person who lives here is wealthy or is well valued in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of pauses and he knocks on the hut door and he says, "Harendur Thara? Harendur Thara?" And inside you hear a voice say, "What?" And he says, there's some people here to see you." And she says, "Why?"
We wanted to meet the person responsible for all those amazing mechanical oddities outside.
A very, very old elf woman in like big Coke bottle glasses pokes her head out of the door.
Oh, can I say I've tethered my horse somewhere, by the way?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Cool.
Forgot about that guy. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
assume you didn't just
good
bring him
plan.
clomping into the village.
Yeah. I forget I have a horse, but I do. Meet my horse.
And she looks around at each of you and she kind of squints, and she's got like these caterpillary eyebrows that sort of come down like they're trying to eat the glasses as she squints at each of you.
I love her.
And she looks at you all and she says, "Too old, too dwarf, too made of rocks, too fake elf."
Damn, you're quick.
And she shuts the door again.
What did she say? Too old?
The door opens very slightly, and she says, "They're toys. They're for children.
Neural has requests.
Darthara has splash potions."
But Neural wants to get Meat Dog a meat dog.
Oh, that's actually in character. You want to get a toy for Meat Dog?
She kind of pokes her head out, and she looks at Meat Dog, and she says, "I don't know what he thinks he's doing there."
What do
Back
you
in.
What do you mean?
"You're a dog."
Why do you say
That
that?
was a rather long pause.
Why do you say that as though there's quotation marks around it? She looks sternly at Meat Dog. Meat Dog, are you actually a dog? That's not an answer.
Doesn't sound like an answer to me.
Meat Dog shrugs, and then begins digging in the dirt.
Of course, Meat Dog is dog.
The door opens just a tiny crack, and like a little tiny wind-up Mabari comes trotting out, and then the door slams shut again.
Oh my god.
It is made entirely of iron bark, but it also has a little wooden spring for a tail.
Good.
God. But Felice just kind of chuckles and goes, "Heh, iron, bark."
Ray fist bumps you.
She fist bumps. Has the man who escorted us, whose name I'm afraid I've forgotten, has he left us?
A Hannon.
Sorry?
His name's Mahanan,
Mahanan.
and at this point, kind of standing in what is pretty clearly like a minimum safe distance from the splash zone, but he's standing close enough that he can kind of giggle at you guys. It's like it's a small town. There's not a lot to do.
Fair.
Despite evidence to the contrary, we probably have it from here, although you can stay and laugh at it as if you want to.
He hops up on a fence post, starts eating an apple, and says, "Oh, I'm gonna."
You're cute, I like you. Okay. She knocks on the door. So, here's the thing. We have an issue, and we're quite desperate, and I am willing to do things to at least get an audience with you.
Her head pokes out again, and she says, "Well, why didn't you kids say so? Come in, come in, come in." And she kind of hurries you into her little hut.
Adorable.
Oh, thank goodness. Maharan outside was saying how you don't seem to like to involve yourself in grand-scale conflict, and...
Can I fit in the hut? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
I'm gonna say no. Everything in this village is very decidedly elf-sized.
Alright, I'm just gonna put my head through the door. Or the window, if there's a window.
She slides the window open and says, "Don't break the glass."
Yes, ma'am.
I love this mental image.
You want tea? It's bad.
I'm alright, thanks for offering. She glances at
I
the
don't have
others.
taste buds. I'd love to try some.
She pours some tea for herself and for Ray, and it smells like a swamp. But she hands the cup to Ray and says, "It's good for your joints."
Oh, good. I was having some issues with my joints earlier, and I kind of give Neural a look.
Might not be good for your joints. Might just build character.
Neural just kind of laughs. Ray's gonna go ahead and take a sip.
Well, you have no taste buds, as previously mentioned, but your magical taste sensors are telling you that it also tastes like a swamp. It was exactly as advertised.
Cool.
She kind of sips her tea and sits at the table, kind of squinting at each one of you. And she says, "All right, have you noticed the issues in this immediate area?"
Is it the one
The
of...
trampling.
Oh, there was trampling?
Yes, I mentioned it when we came into town.
Yeah, but Valise got a nat 1. She failed so hard she forgot what you explained.
This is in character.
Yeah. And Valise goes, "Oh, right, you did mention."
So, yes, I think so.
Is that what you're talking about, ma'am?
Yes, I'm talking about those very, very unpleasant boys.
Boys?
Well, you could call them men, I suppose, but it seems generous.
Who did this?
Bunch of Shemlin.
Humans.
No, these ones are Shemlin.
Fair. What are they, bandits?
Dipshits.
Why did they attack? Did they want to take things?
Nope, they just really hate elves.
Do you want to point me to them? She's very slightly massaging her knuckles.
All right,
Which is to know which direction the
path
shits are.
The path that you all came down. Go back to the fork, and instead of turning left, you turn right.
Oh.
Neural gets up.
Neural, we haven't finished here yet. So
Neural's back down.
we heard that there are bad things to the right. Is there anything else we need to look out for it other than them?
Well, no, it's mostly them. They're the bad thing to the right. There used to be some wolves over there, but they ate them.
The poor wolves.
That's what I'm saying.
What kind of numbers are we talking here? What kind of, how are they armed? What are their resources? What are we up against?
See, now there's where we run into the problem, isn't it?
Too many?
There's about 40, 45 of them.
Oh, damn it.
They're all standing
Is that
back up
all?
again.
Look, I'm good, but I'm not that good.
And, well, the real issue is that they feel, very emboldened by... Okay, can I level with you kids?
I'd prefer if you did.
Yes.
Well, I wasn't always the gentle, peace-loving grandmother you see in front of you.
You're kidding.
I use grandmother metaphorically here. I don't have kids, they're sticky.
I'm hearing that so much.
What?
Valise says, I'm hearing that so much because I'm pretty sure this is the third NPC who said that.
Yeah.
Is this how Hannah feels about kids coming out in NPCs?
A little bit, but it's in character.
No,
Pretty-
that's fair.
Scared of children. Durthara likes them. She just doesn't want them to be sticky all over her personally. She makes, toys. And then they leave and she likes that. As you're looking around inside, for the record, you're in a very nice little alcove. Like, it's like a breakfast nook with the little tea table and the teapot and a fire. But, 90% of the space in this very small hut is taken up by a big workbench, and you see a lot of, partially shaped little animals around. And you see springs and cogs that are also all made out of wood.
Very workshop feel.
Yeah.
I like it.
Everybody roll a perception check.
Perception. I got a 20.
All right. Ray, you see it's almost carved into a baseboard. You see a very elaborate and expensive looking rune stuck into the side of the fireplace. Everyone else, you got nothing.
Okay. Can I roll enchantment?
I guess.
17.
All right, you have no idea what it does. Sorry.
That's
It's
okay.
a nice rune.
It is a very nice rune.
You get some vague idea that it's maybe used for moving something,
Mm-hmm.
but that's all.
All right. Well, when in doubt, just ask. Ray's gonna point at the rune and ask what it is. Out of curiosity.
I call that my dumbass rune.
Oh?
Yeah, because if a dumbass touches it, they fall over dead.
Huh.
Good to know.
Neural looks at the room, looks at his hand,
Don't...
sits back down.
Good.
Good boy. Or dwarf. Whatever.
Neural is Neural.
Good neural then.
Durthara, or Haran, sorry, what were you going to level with us about?
Well, once upon a time, when I was a little bit more sociable, I used my skills in Ironbark singing. I've got a beautiful voice. I know it doesn't sound like it when I talk, but I do. And I employed those skills in a more martial, militaristic type manner.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't go so good for me or the people around me. And so anyways, to make a very long, sad story very short and only kind of sad, there are a couple of guys over in the other village who may or may not have discovered some of my earlier works.
When you
I
say
see.
when you say the other village, do you mean that's what's to the right?
Well, it's more of a raiding camp than a village. I mean, you look around here, we've got squash, we've got small children playing with little toys and whatnot, families, and people living their lives. You look over there, they've got guns, they've got boomsticks, swords, a bunch of dudes aged like 18 to 27, and like 5 chicks. And I gotta tell you, I don't envy a single one of them.
Felice is making mental notes to exploit later.
Is there any way for
Hold
you
up, hammer.
to turn off your earlier work? If you can sing it into existence, can you sing it out of existence?
Sure, if I'm not getting killed with it.
Let's see.
So,
It's a very personal experience. You gotta put your hands on the wood. You gotta sing just the right way. There's gotta be absolute concentration. And none of those things are very possible around these bozos.
but
Right.
if we could take the equipment from them and bring it back to you, for instance.
Sure, then I could do whatever you wanted with it.
Neural holds up hammer.
And failing getting it back to you, I'm assuming there isn't a different way of deactivating them?
Nope, that's why they were so popular. Very hard to turn off.
Makes sense.
Regular enchantment, you just get yourself a disruption rune and, all you got then is a metal stick. But not so much these.
You do good work.
I do. Thank you for noticing.
So how much do they have? Enough to arm each of them? More?
They've got 3 pieces.
Oh,
Just-
well, that doesn't sound so bad.
Are they big?
Well, some of them are big. I'd say the halberd's pretty big.
If the halberd's the biggest, then that's still stuff that we can take away from them and bring to you.
Yes. I'm bigger than a halberd.
That you are, kid.
Well, we might be able to help with that, but there is a specific reason we came here. I'm sure you guessed that much.
No, I thought you came out in the bare shit and fucking wood just for, a day party. That's why I live out here, So it's really convenient for people like you to find me.
Listen, how much do you know about what happened in Guarin?
Big dragon, big sky explosion. I don't know. We don't get a lot of news out here except for the whirly gigs.
That's fair. But here's the thing. The explosion, the dragon, those were diversions. Someone, and she holds up the amulet, engineered that diversion so that they could steal the Blade of Hessarian. We don't know what they want to use it for, but we know it's not good.
Some sort of Shemlin nonsense, probably.
Probably. The point is, the mages we spoke to couldn't help us identify who they are, but there is a curse there was a curse on this necklace, and if we can find out who placed the curse, we can find out who stole the sword.
So you don't want, like, a sword or nothing from me?
No? Should we?
I mean, everyone should. I make terrific swords.
I'm
but I don't...
sure you do, but you seem like it seems like it would be a bad idea to ask you to make any more of these weapons. So no, we're just wanting help tracking down some people.
All right, you kids take care of my problem. I'll get you on the way to solving yours. And hang on. Excuse me. Neural, could I borrow your hammer for just a sec?
Neural hands her the hammer very tentatively.
She slams it against her hut wall, and on the other side, you hear Mahanan go, "Ow!" Hands it back to you.
Gotta be more careful, cutie.
Daryl just laughs at this as he takes back the hammer.
She says, "All right, well, let's go, let's go."
You coming with us?
No, "let's go" was a figure of speech. I mean, let's
Ah.
go where you guys are the let's, and you get out of my hut.
All right.
Daryl gets up and goes for the door.
You
Ray
can take Mahanan with you. He needs something to do.
hands back the empty teacup, thanks her for the tea, and withdraws from the window.
All right. As Meat Dog returns out, the tiny little clockwork Mabari starts spinning in excited circles around him. And then she slams the door behind you. And that is, I think, where we're going to end the session for tonight.
Oh heck.
Gonna go on an adventure.
Yay! I already have ideas about how we might do this. We can spend before we start next week, we can maybe throw some ideas around.
Yes, good plan, because I, at the moment, am blank.
It's
But I
cool. We
feel
have a
like
week
we'll
to
come
think
up
about
with
it.
stuff.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And
Daryl
we're
has
hardly
one
ever
plan.
gonna get killed. What?
Daryl has one.
Is it Smash?
Neural has one plan, Andrea, and it's always the same plan.
Exactly.
I mean,
You have to admit, his plan pretty regularly works out.
to be fair, yes, this is very true.
True.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Hannah. That was a really fun session. Would you
Thank
like to
you.
say goodbye?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you guys for playing. Thank anyone who's listening, and good night.
Good night.